Good evening, everyone. My name is Maurya Hanspal, and in this session, we're going to continue about the mutual funds only and talking about the short-term debt funds. That is a type of debt funds. Now, the debt funds can be both long-term and short-term. Okay, so abhi ke liye, like specifically talking about the short-term funds. So, what happens in a short-term debt fund? That is basically for a fund if you're investing into debt, bonds, or the debentures of a security for less than 1 year or less than 365 days, right? Now, the open-ended debt schemes investing in securities with the maturity ranging from 1 day to 1 year. That is, the 1 year is max. Now, there are the overnight funds. In the short-term debt funds, you have the overnight funds. The overnight fund, these are those funds with amount that you can redeem in 24 hours. They might be at discount and you can redeem at par. Then there are the liquid funds. They invest into debt securities which have a maturity of less than 91 days. And they can be the government securities also. Then you have the ultra short duration fund. In ultra short duration funds, these range from 3 months to 6 months. In low duration fund, they range from 6 to 12 months. And a money market fund is max to max till 1 year. In a money market fund, like you are investing into short term securities, your government securities, your commercial papers, your certificate of deposits, and short term liquid instruments. That is your debt funds. Then you have the long term debt funds. Your long term debt funds, when you are investing into a bond or a debenture of a company for more than 1 year, right? And that will give you both income and capital appreciation. So basically, you have the corporate bonds or the long-term government bond, 30-year government bonds, or the corporate bonds, right? Who are the AA rating. The AA plus rating is assigned by the credit rating agencies. Okay, so that thing must be known to you. Okay. So basically, what happens, you have like two types of long-term funds. One is a corporate bond fund, and the other is the credit risk fund. So what happens in a corporate bond fund? At least 80% of being is invested into high-grade corporate bonds and assets that have a lower chance of defaulting. Obviously, like they have a rating of AA plus. But in a credit risk fund, you are investing 65%, at least 65% in the securities of less than AA plus. It means the risky securities. So obviously, if the credit risk fund is investing into like risky securities, the rate of return would also be more there as compared to the corporate bond fund. But this AA rating or the AAA rating, it does not tell you or tell you with guarantee that the funds won't default. Even the corporate bond funds have also defaulted. Okay. But like what happens basically if the bond price, like when you are like investing into debts or bonds, they get also affected by the coupon payments or the yield that you get, because yield and the market price of the bond is inversely related. If the bond price rises, the yields fall. If the yields rise, the bond price falls. So that is an inverse relationship. So for example, if you're having only bond portfolio में stocks नहीं है but debt ही debt है, तो अगर rates बढ़ गए तो bond की value कम हो जाएगी and we might face a market to market loss. Your market to market loss is nothing but the price का 20 का 10 हो गया. Okay, and that we also call it as the accrual risk. Okay, but then interest rate तो तुमको मिल रहा है, तो you have the price risk. The price risk is there. But if the bond price rises, the yield will fall. In that case, you have a reinvestment risk or the interest rate risk. So that is the problem. But there are like when you talk about corporate and advanced finance, you have strategies to create like such a portfolio which can reduce both the reinvestment risk and the price risk. So that is something different, like which we'll talk about in the other sessions. The long-term debt funds, then you have the fixed maturity plan. The fixed maturity plans are the close-ended funds and they have a lock-in period. So there are two things, like one is a fixed maturity plan and one is a target maturity. So like on today only, I was like viewing something on like the fixed maturity plans and target maturity plans. So what they're basically saying, in this environment of like volatility, when the equity market is volatile, the cryptocurrencies is volatile, and the Fed outside India is increasing the rate of interest. Whereas still in India, the RBI recently, like day before yesterday, he has maintained an accommodative stance or a dovish stand. But by dovish stand, I mean he's not increasing the rate of interest as per now. तो अभी के लिए मैं नहीं है, बट आगे जाके तो रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट मतलब कि like he has to increase. So in such a situation where there is so much uncertainty, this problem can come into between. So that is why the people were suggesting to go in for the target maturity plans. So what happens in a target maturity plan, your like the maturity of the bonds as well as your investment horizon must match, and obviously like you have been locked in for a certain price and an interest rate. अब इंटरेस्ट रेट कम हो या ज्यादा हो वो मतलब कि फिक्स मिलता ही रहेगा. ओके, एंड दैट इज ओपन एंडेड. इन केस ऑफ अ फिक्स मैच्योरिटी प्लान इट्स क्लोज एंडेड, तो लिक्विडिटी की प्रॉब्लम आ जाती है, राइट. सो दैट इज समथिंग, बट ऑलमोस्ट दे आर सेम. बट यहाँ पे एक इंटरेस्ट रेट रिस्क ज्यादा होता है इन द फिक्स मैच्योरिटी प्लान्स एज कंपेयर टू द अदर वंस, द टारगेट मैच्योरिटी वन. Then hybrid funds are again, as I talked about the hybrid fund. What are hybrid funds? Your hybrid funds are a combination of equity and debt instruments. And ऐसे नहीं मतलब कि 50-50 के नहीं लिखा है कि 50-50 होना चाहिए. It is a combination. But ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि 65% से ज़्यादा इक्विटी है. अगर 65% से ज़्यादा इक्विटी है तो then it would be an equity oriented hybrid fund. देखो, aggressive funds और the equity oriented hybrid funds, these are 65% minimum है. Conservative में 75% would be for debt, the conservative hybrid funds. And in the balanced hybrid fund, at least 40 to 60 like you are investing, 40% debt or 60% equity, or 60% debt and 40% equity, right? Then you have the capital protection fund. So these are basically protecting your capital, and these are basically for those people who are risk averse कि पैसा नहीं डूबना चाहिए. Then you have the solution oriented scheme. These are basically for some solution, like people start saving for their retirement, or people start saving for the children's education or marriage and all these stuff. These are the solution oriented funds. Then you have, we talked about the balance advantage fund, aggressive, multi-asset, equity. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 types of the hybrid categories. And this you have the equity saving fund. The equity saving funds are basically your ELSS, the equity linked saving schemes. And your arbitrage fund is basically, it helps you to buy in one market and sell in the other market. Like for example, if the price in one market is less, so you can buy it in that market and sell in the other market, like where the price is high. So you can earn there. Okay. Then some international funds are there, like which allow you to invest in the foreign security. Like for example, a global depository receipt and your American depository receipt. So these are, if an American wants to invest like somewhere abroad, so he can buy these American depository receipts, which like represents a share like outside India. And the global depository like receipt is someone, again, like if an Indian person wants to like invest abroad, then the GDRs are available. Then again, we talk about the real estate funds. Again, these real estate funds are investing into the infrastructure or the reality projects, and then earning from there, property and all. REITs, a real estate investment trust. So when I talk about the real estate investment trust, so real estate investment trust is investing into the units of these high commercial properties, and it is much more beneficial as compared to buying the stocks of real estate companies. Because like what is the benefit? Around 80%, more than 80% they are investing into high commercial properties जहाँ से rent आएगा ही आएगा. तो जो यूनिट होल्डर्स हैं जिन्होंने अपने रीट में पैसा लगाया, like they would be getting their money back, right? Also 90% of that has to be given as dividend. 90% का जो भी dividend है, it has to be distributed as dividend. So यहाँ पे benefit दो हैं, एक capital appreciation का benefit भी मिलता है and dividend का भी benefit मिलता है. So that is one thing. The infrastructure trust that invest in some like infrastructure projects and all these things में करते हैं invest. You have the infrastructure funds. So what happens in REIT? A REIT always invests in what kind of fund? A REIT always invests in the properties, high commercial properties. But the infrastructure fund, it also invests in the infrastructure projects, roads, highways, and other things. Then you have a fund of fund. A fund of fund is a mutual fund that invests in other mutual funds. एक तुम्हारा खुद का म्यूचुअल फंड है एंड वो मतलब कि म्यूचुअल फंड किसी और म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है. बट यहाँ पे एक्सपेंस रेशियो भी ज़्यादा होगा बिकॉज लाइक यू विल हैव टू एसेट मैनेजमेंट कंपनीज, एक जिसको तुम पैसा दोगे एंड दूसरा जो किसी और को पैसा देगा. दैट इज वन थिंग. ठीक है, तो यहाँ तक आज करते हैं टिल फंड्स ऑफ फंड्स. इन द नेक्स्ट